Hello.
How are you guys?
Hello, how are you?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you both.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so people are joining. Please gather, come in here while we're trying to get set up. So thank you so much, Madeline, for accepting our invitation today. I'm so happy you are here. And we're going to talk about an important topic for you all. We're going to talk about from wine to green juices, which is not typically the type of topic people see
Right.
online, but it's very, very juicy. I guarantee you that. So we are going to learn a lot about you today. We are also going to learn about your journey, right? Because we are all about inspiring people, and especially women, about turning around their health naturally. Because a lot of women are still struggling knowing how to go from point A to point B. So here we are today with yet another inspiring story for them. So Solange and I are going to take turn to kind of tell you a little bit, ask you a little bit about yourself and what you do and those kind of things. And if you guys watching us today, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and we'll be glad to answer them all as we're going through this. So, Madeline, thank you so much once again for being here. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience in terms of who you are and what you do?
Yes, of course. So my name is Madeline. I'm a holistic and integrative health coach. I specifically help those with chronic and mysterious illnesses. But with that being said, I kind of help clients like in a wide spectrum, kind of ones that are bedridden, that can't really function, to those that kind of just want to get back into their health and wellness and kind of better energy, better sleep, things like that. For me personally, we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but just like a backstory of like my why. I was personally sick for basically my entire life. When I came out of the womb, I was always having allergic reactions. I had medication reactions, food sensitivities, and from there it really progressed from learning disabilities to eczema, psoriasis, vitiligo, thyroid issues, acne, brain fog, Epstein-Barr virus, heavy metal toxicity, Lyme disease, literally the list goes on and on and on. And so when I was in my younger life, every single year it kept getting worse. And then when I was in my 20s, every single month something was coming up. And my family always took the natural holistic approach. So I didn't go to traditional doctors. I wasn't doing any like traditional medication. I was doing like the Chinese herbs and the supplements and kind of the body scans and everything. But obviously that wasn't enough. And in the back of my mind, I always asked my naturopath, what about my diet? And he knew. My mom raised us healthy in the sense there was like no hydrogenated oil in the house. There was no like dairy products, but there was still, she didn't know like the canola oils and the citric acids and the corn and all the stuff that kind of added to it. So he was like, oh, your mom's healthy, like your house is fine, like your kitchen's fine, you're fine, like your diet's fine. And I was 22 years old. I graduated college and I had a face full of acne, and that was really the first chronic illness symptom that I couldn't hide. And so I went to an appointment with him and I said, this is it. I said, I pay you how much money a month for you to give me answers, and you're not giving me answers. And so I took that motivation and I really educated myself on the importance of food and non-toxic living and really getting down to the deep-rooted issue. And it was in the last 4 years, it's absolutely incredible how my body has transitioned, and now I use that knowledge and information to help other women heal.
Wow, amazing. So I think that you answered to my next question. So I will let Giselle just go on because it's amazing. And I think that everybody should listen to you and know that everything is in prevention, not in the curative way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how, Madeline, you had all of these chronic conditions at once, right? Or I believe with few weeks apart, like Lyme disease, like brain fog, like learning disabilities. and you had all of these at once, trying to cope with them, it's something that most people usually, well, they can relate to, but they probably don't know how to navigate through that. So my next question for you was that what was your diet back then, and what does your diet consist of right now? Because a lot of people tend to believe that it may be a diet issue. So can you tell us a little bit about what was your diet back then, and what does it look like now?
Yeah, like I said before, my mom raised us on a pretty healthy diet. I wouldn't say a standard American diet. I wasn't eating Kraft singles. I wasn't eating hot dogs. I wasn't eating pizza and stuff like that. My mom is Lebanese and Armenian, and because of that, I ate a lot of Middle Eastern food. So it was a lot of high-fat foods. So it was like rice with a bunch of olive oil and different salads with doused in olive oil. Fish, not really, there was some meats, but like mostly fish. And everything my mom made was super, always homemade. Like if I had to bring, my mom's a very, very good cook and a good baker. So if I had to bring in like a dessert to elementary school, my mom was making like a 7-tier chocolate cake from scratch. So we were eating pretty good, I guess you could say, compared to an average standard American diet. But like I said before, we didn't really know like the specifics of like the oils and the high fat and like the processed soy and the processed corn. And I was gluten-free since early high school because of my thyroid issues, and it helped kind of a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of funny because like if you compare how I was raised to an average person, you say like, oh, you're super healthy, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, but I obviously just from kind of my lifestyle, and I was born with a high toxic overload. And so if you don't 100% hone in on diet and lifestyle, then there's all the toxins are just going to keep growing and growing and growing and causing more chronic illness. So yeah, to answer your question, obviously I was still raised like healthy in the sense, but wasn't to the standard it needed to be. So I'm very grateful that my mom opened up my eyes to kind of plants and fruits and vegetables, and she really taught me how to cook. She still to this day will like send me recipes and tell me like tips and tricks and stuff. Where was I going with this? So the transition into a plant-based diet was relatively easy for me because at the time I was vegetarian, I was gluten-free, and I wasn't eating eggs. So all I had to really do was cut out cheese. So it was just about tweaking. Like, it's not really about like what I was eating. It was about what I wasn't eating. Like I wasn't doing the juices. I wasn't doing the hydrating, like coconut water, lemon water, the smoothies, the supplements, the non-toxic products, sweating, lymphatic drainage, infrared saunas, like all of it. It was kind of what I wasn't doing.
Wow, amazing. You know,
I just had to finish that part of her diet she's talking about. So you are plant-based diet right now. Are you raw or fully raw?
No, I'm not. I would say I'm high raw. So my mornings are usually full of hydration. So like a lemon water, coconut water, smoothie, fruit plate, or a huge smoothie. Lunch is usually salad with like a lower fat dressing. And then dinner is usually something like cooked potatoes in a salad, or lettuce wraps, or nori wraps, or I don't even know, like gluten-free pasta. So I would say I'm high raw, but no, I'm not completely raw.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Gundry used to say that food that you are removing help you to feel better than food that you are introducing for your health, you know. And that's lead me to my next question is, you know, most of people have a moment that is breaking point in their lives for them to start changing habits. And when was your awakening moment, if you had one? And in other words, when did you know that what you are doing was not working and that you had to start a healing journey?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on this before, but I was 22 years old. I had just graduated college. I just moved to LA, started my first corporate job. I had a face full of acne. And I'd never had acne before in my entire life. And I just like kind of chucked it up that I moved to a new city, I started a job, it's stress, like, so that went on for probably like 4 months. And every single month I would go to my naturopath, I would do blood work, he would do body scans, he would give me some homeopathic pills saying, oh, take this. And finally by the 4th or 5th month, I got pretty angry with him. And I think a lot of people can relate, especially because the frustration that you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, you are, or you think you are. I was paying this naturopath. I don't even want to think about how much money I was paying him, but I was paying him an ungodly amount of money for him to not give me results, for him to not give me answers. And I was like, this can't go on. Like and this is a naturopath that I'd gone to for 10 years of my life. And every month it was like, oh, just take this supplement, take this, do this. And he never, ever, ever touched on diet, which was a huge red flag for me. And I thought, like, we are eating, the food we consume is one of the main constants in our life. It's always been there. It always will be there. Sometimes we're consuming either a product or a food or a liquid, whatever it is, hourly. Like when we're breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks, lotions, shampoos, toothpaste. And that obviously, like, in my mind, I was like, that is a huge constant. Like there has to be a correlation to the products and what we're consuming to our health. And so after my doctor basically told me that there was nothing he could do, he was like, oh, this is the information I have. And he went down the hormonal test. So he tested my hormones. He's like, oh, your hormones are great. I'm like, well, then if you say acne is related to hormones, then why aren't they, and my hormones are fine, then why do I have acne? He's like, oh, but we can fix this by just putting you on like a pill. And I was like, okay, but if you put me on a pill, it's for a virus. But you want to treat my hormones. And so none of it, like after I started waking up and putting things together and it didn't make sense, I realized that nobody can heal you but yourself. You can't go to a doctor, you can't go to a healer, you can't go to a psychic. They can activate the healer within you, and that's what my main practice is. My main goal is to activate the healer within you, to explain the knowledge, to explain the recommendations and tell you kind of what to do, but you have to activate that healer within yourself and fully understand your body on a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional level for you to really heal. And I didn't realize that until after until I started embarking on my healing journey. But yeah, I think it obviously my experience with doctors was very negative, and I think it's important for everybody to understand the importance of what you eat, what you consume physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
You know, it's so true what you say, Madeline, because I usually tell our clients that you eat probably 3 times a day, but then you exercise maybe once, and you probably go shopping once a day as well. So you eat basically more than you actually exercise or do anything else.
Right.
So naturally, diet becomes something that you need to look into first and foremost, right? So now when you start looking into your diet and you fix that one component, because the body is a holistic approach, it's like you're putting puzzles together. And now you are sick and you have to figure out which puzzle is out of balance. So you have to focus with one thing at a time. So when you're trying to focus on 3 or 4 different things at the same time, if one of them works or does not work, you won't know which one is working or is not. So you have to start somewhere. So if you start with diet, make sure that you're working on your diet for an amount of time, a specific period of time, right? And then you get that under control, and then you move to the next bit, which is what I did basically. Back then in 2019, when I had my awakening moment, now we're talking about turning points, I also had my awakening moment in 2019, because prior to that, in 2014, I was diagnosed with asthma, and I had never heard that word before in my life, right? The doctor was like, you are diagnosed with asthma, and you literally have to start taking all these inhalers for the rest of your life. For me, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense because first and foremost, I didn't know what that was. And secondly, nobody had ever had that kind of chronic illness in my life. And third, I wasn't given an option other than medication, right? Which is kind of okay when you get started. But then when you start taking those medications, and they even get worse, your condition even get worse than it's supposed to be, then you definitely realize that there's something wrong. And the more I was taking that, the more I was getting sick. And one day I just cracked. Like I got my awakening moment in 2019. And I decided that, okay, I was actually waiting for someone else to heal me. And back to your point, healing is inwards, right? You have to want it. You have to own it, that I want to heal. But when you reject it, which is what I was trying to do to begin with, I was rejecting the illness as opposed to embracing it and understand that what is it that this is here to teach me? Because an illness is always here to teach you something. It's always here to tell you that your body is out of balance. So you need to receive it and accept it as a fact. Not that this is going to be your sentence for life, but this is a fact, a communication between you and your body. Mm-hmm. Now, when you accept it, the next step is, okay, let me figure out what's going on here. Why is my body out of balance? And there are several ways you can go about that. And we like to go the natural way because that's how you reconnect with yourself. That's how you know exactly that this is something that I did at one point that was not in alignment with my body. And now I need to figure out a new way, right? And I got my same awakening moment in 2019, and I figured this was it. I needed to do something different, and I cut off the gluten, and I cut off the dairy, and I got off the grains, and I worked my own healing journey. And once diet was in place, I was still sick. And that's how I realized that, okay, holistic nutrition is not just about diet. Healing is not just about diet. Diet is a great and beautiful component of it. But once diet is out of the way and you are still sick, then you need to tap into the other powers, right? Emotional healing. You need to tap into mental health. You need to tap into physical activities. And all these definitely created an impact in my life. I had to own my emotional imbalances at that time. And God knows I had it. So just to tell you that it is very important that you take ownership of your own health and decide that you're going to walk your own healing journey, which most people don't understand, that healing is inwards first and then someone else.
We are the power of healing is in us. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you have to act like my job, and the reason I believe I was put on this planet, I went through all those struggles because I'm here now helping people heal. And I don't call myself a healer because my main goal is to activate the healing powers on all aspects within my life. Yeah. And I think a lot of people nowadays in today's society, like everything comes like that. Like we have a cell phone and we are able to search anything. Like we can go to the grocery store and get anything. We can, like everything is so go, 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 go. And they're like, oh, I'm a pill. Let me just take a pill and my acne will be better. Or let me take a pill and my thyroid issues will be gone. And people just don't realize that that's just a mask. If you're masking the situation and you're taking a pill with a side effect list that's 200 pages long, then in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, your health is just going to be even worse and worse and worse. And I think that also brings it back to alignment and connection. If you aren't aligned and connected to your body and you don't know what's going on and you're not picking up on the signs that you have, that like if you have acne, if you have any sort of health issue, thyroid issues, vitiligo, that is a sign that your body is screaming at you. Like there's a toxic overload. This is your time to do something about it. Like literally, and that's the way the body keeps, and at every single moment, the body knows what to heal. And I also think one more top thing that I'll say is that a lot of people forget that the human body is so intelligent that its innate capability and like normal function is to detox. Every single, like the body is continuously moving and you're feeding it the right tools and you're going to the bathroom and you're sweating. The body's innate capability is to detox. When your body reaches a massive toxic overload and you're feeding it crap foods, not getting in the sun, not grounding, not meditating, not even being aware of your mental and emotional health, then your body reaches a point where it literally can't handle it anymore. And that's when you see like serious health issues.
Yeah, SOS. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So let's come back to a moment in your life, Madeline, that I always wanted to ask you. Your younger self was drinking lots of wine, right? And partying, which is an important moment to mention. How much of wine intake did you have back then, and how often?
Yeah, so, oh gosh, I started drinking, I think when I was like, let's say, I think I was 15, maybe 14. And I was just raised around a culture where it was normal. My parents are always entertaining. There's always people at the house. There's always people throwing parties. And so it was normal for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for there to be a massive spread on the table, a massive bar in the house. It was normal for kids in my high school to be drinking. It was normal for us to go to college and drink 6 nights a week. It was just the way what I was raised around. I was just partaking in it. And so I would say, like, in high school, it was like 2 days a week I would be drinking, and I would be drunk. So it was several drinks. College, it was like 4, 5, 6 nights a week, drunk again. Post-college, same thing. And that's all I knew with my social life. It was go out to dinner, go out to drinks with your girlfriends, go to a pregame, go to a bar, go to a club, hang out with your 30 friends, not remember getting home, wake up on Saturday, do the next thing, Sunday, do the next, like, that's just all I kind of knew. So yeah, I was like a huge partier, but I never really aligned with it. I was forcing it because that's what my social life was. And I would say, like, when I started my healing journey is when I realized, like, the correlation between my health and my drinking. And I knew that if I was going to heal and if I was going to take on this new identity and this new life, then I had to sacrifice. And so I had to stop drinking. I had to kind of like alter my the way I was socializing. And so I did that for about like 6 months to a year. And then I reverted back to drinking because I started feeling better. And so I was like, that's my social life. That's what I know. And then I did that for about a year and I was like, I can't continue to live this way. It took a lot of a mental and emotional healing for me to be able and be okay with physically detaching from that lifestyle. Obviously all my friends did it. A lot of my friends still do it, and live like that, which is fine. And it's just, I had to alter my social life. I had to alter, like, when I saw these people, how I saw these people, how I spent my time with my friends was completely different. Like, maybe it's now going to a yoga class instead of staying out till 2 a.m. It also, like, I really realized, like, who my true friends were, and realized that, like, these people that were my best friends for 10 years weren't really, like, high quality people. And so I kind of, like, moved on from old friends. And when I kind of got rid of people that I wasn't aligned with anymore, the universe started slowly putting people in my life that are more connected and aligned to me. So I have basically all my friends are sober, all my friends are plant-based, all my friends are health conscious. And so I spend my weekends going to, like, yoga events and going to bed at 10 p.m. instead of partying. So it's a lot different.
Wow. Wow. But looking back to at your healing journey, do you ever miss your old life?
No, never. No, because I was so unaligned. I was so disconnected. I didn't know who I was. I was sick.
Yeah.
What I was doing was making me sick. There was nothing good about the situation. I find joy in going to bed at 9 o'clock on a Friday. I find joy in cooking my own food in my apartment by myself. I find joy meditating by myself. Like, my relationship with myself is so strong that I don't need what I was doing in the past was filling an emotional and mental void, like drinking and eating this crap food and just doing things that weren't healthy for me. And so now I'm so aligned and connected to who I am that I could be sitting in a tree for 4 hours and somehow entertain myself.
Wow. There's one component that you mentioned that I would like to reiterate here for the people following us, is that you had to disconnect from your lifestyle. And something that comes with that is mental health. It's very important that in your healing journey, you understand that you have to be mentally strong in order to make it happen, right? Because people believe that you just wake up one day and say, I want to change, and I decide to change. Though it happens like that for some people, but most of times I usually say that the shift in lifestyle is a mental strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be mentally aware and strong to be able to do that. So there will be ways or there will be scenarios where you will be tempted, or either you want to betray yourself. So if you are not mentally strong, you'll fall back to the old habit. So healing is first of all a mental strength skill that you need to develop. Once you develop that skill, then anything can come your way and you will be able to resist it. So it's very important that you make the connection between your mind and your emotions, which is basically your willingness to make a change happen, right? So you can't dissociate the two. It's impossible. The heart may want it, but if the will is not there, you won't go anywhere, right? So this is something that I also had to learn on my self-healing journey. I had to make the mind strong first, and then the body or the emotions were aligned afterwards. So very critical points here that we need to mention. So my next question to you, Madeline, is that now that you have a little bit of understanding, because you work your own healing journey, right? And I love inspiring stories like yours. Now that you have a deep understanding of your health back then, do you think that the root causes of your chronic illnesses were just food related? I know the answer to that, but I want to know.
No, it was lifestyle. It was, food was a major component, but I was born, like, a lot of toxins are passed down paternally and maternally. So through, like, the womb, through the way that humans are created, the quality of the sperm and the egg, and also the toxic level that your parents hold, is going to be passed down to you. So that's why a lot of chronic illnesses are generational. Like, oh, my mom had thyroid issues, I'm gonna have thyroid issues. My mom had PCOS, I'm gonna have PCOS. And it's like, well, why is that? It's because a lot of toxins are passed down generationally through the birthing system, but also because you tend to live a similar lifestyle as your family. So you're eating the same foods, you're doing the same things. So no, so mine was all, it was lifestyle. So it was the food I was eating, it was the products I was using. I was born with a high toxic overload at first, so that kind of set me way soccer or tennis or lacrosse or swimming. Like, I was a very active kid, and that takes a massive toll on your adrenals. And so my adrenal glands were completely shot, which also plays a massive role in chronic illness and kind of the body in general. So that also has to do with it. Things like, I went to elementary school in a very old building with copper pipes and just like using industrial heavy metals. So for 6 years of my life, I was sitting in a building that wasn't the highest quality and great for me. So I was consuming water and just sitting in buildings that had toxic heavy metals in it. I grew up in like an older house. That has to do with it. A lot of things have to do with it. And so it's not just food, it's kind of lifestyle, and you have to be aware of that as well.
Wow. And now that you have overcome your health issues, what is your message to those out there who would like to heal naturally but are still struggling with the chronic illness?
Yeah, I think it's very important to tell people, to share your story with people, and to tell them that you can get out of, to an extent, you can change your reality. You can get out of anything health-wise, anything mental, emotionally wise, spiritually wise. You have the ability within yourself to heal. You have the ability to change your mental state. You have the ability to change your reality, whether it's your health, your relationship, your career, where you live. What you have the ability to literally change anything, to do anything that you want in this world. And I think it's about understanding that it's possible, and also understanding you're capable of doing that, and understanding and gathering the tools and information on how to do that. I could have never imagined 5 years ago that I would be in this position, that I would be working for myself, that I would be healed, that I would be helping other people heal. And just realize that every low point, every kind of sick moment that you have, there's a reason for it. The universe doesn't put anything in front of you that you aren't capable of doing, that you aren't capable of overcoming. The universe is always to just picking up on those signs and figuring out how you can activate the healing powers within yourself to better your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Perfect.
this is true, Madeline, because I like to tell people that everything that happened to you happened for you, right?
Totally.
So when you're going through the chronic illness, you don't see the other side of happiness. You don't see the other side of the tunnel, which is normal because you are still going through the struggle, right? But as long as you keep the faith in, the commitment, and you partner with the right people, the power of partnership. If you power with the right people, you will definitely be on the other side, which is Madeline's story. And that's why we like bringing those type of stories to women, so that they can kind of relate that this is true, that I can have my own healing journey. I can heal, me too, because women are doing it. So it's not impossible. You just have to have the right people in your life. So the right partnership, you need to have the right commitment and mental strength, and be willing to walk your own healing journey. So that brings me to the next question, Madeline. How do people reach out to you if they want to work with you and turn their health around and take their own healing journey?
Yeah, so you can either, my Instagram is Madeline B Health. You can DM me if you have, I answer all my DMs. But in the link in my bio, I have a link to my website, and you can apply through a contact form to work. It'll show you. I'll reach out, kind of chat about next steps. But yeah, the best way to get in contact with me is Instagram. You can message me, and like I said, I respond to everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. So guys, if you want to start working with Madeline, please go and check her Instagram. It's Madeline B Health. I just drop it in the comment section below. She'll be a great support for you in your own healing journey. And you've heard the number of chronic illnesses that she's been through. So I think she's a reliable resource to be able to help you walk your own self-healing journey as a coach. So if you need support, please reach out to her. Also check out her website. She may be able to assist you on that. I think it's MadelineBHealth.com. Am I correct, Madeline?
It's linked in my bio.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Go to her bio and you'll be able to get the link to her website. But thank you so much for being here again, and thank you Solange for co-hosting this particular interview. And you guys, if you have missed it, don't forget to watch the replay, and we'll talk again next week. Thank you, Madeline.
Bye-bye.